won Game 3 of the 20th and final Big 8 Conference Tournament. Next year it goes to the Big 12, and we're set to meet the starting lineups brought to you by Southwest Airlines, flying the low-fare airline, just plain smart. Danny Nee trying to circle the wagons in Nebraska, sends them out with Bernard Garner up front, Eric Strickland, Mikki Moore, Jaron Boone, and Tyronn, their freshman point guard. Danny Nee, 9-11 against Iowa State in his career. His ball club comes in here 16-13 after getting off to a 15-4 start this year. And Iowa State, what a year for the Cyclones. Tim Floyd had 5% of his scoring come back from last year's team, and look what they've done. They are 20-8. Shawn Bankhead, Kenny Pratt, smallish forwards, Kelvin Cato, good athlete in the middle, Jacy Holloway at the point, and Dedric Willoughby, who can score at the 2. And there's Tim Floyd in his second year at Iowa State. He's run the table so far in a brief career against Nebraska, 4-0 against them. So there are your matchups for tonight's game. Dan Sunvold, what about tonight's 4 keys to the game?
Well, first of all, for Nebraska, keep Iowa State off the free throw line. In their Big 8 wins, they average over 30 free throw attempts. Their opponents only 14. The second thing, it's been a month of turmoil for Nebraska. They've had all kinds of things. Forget all the junk and play ball. For Iowa State, defensive transition. Nebraska is fast. They're quick. They like to push the basketball. And obviously there's 2 guys that score for Iowa State. Pratt and Willoughby get them the basketball. They draw contact. They make big baskets.
And I would think Danny Nee and his staff wondering as much as anyone what he's going to see from his ball club here tonight. I would think if they can get it off to a good start, they could really turn it into a dangerous club. Who knows how seniors are going to react in this situation.
Well, you see all the talent when you go through their scouting report and their stats and things. They are as talented almost as any team in this conference. They've just had a lot of problems, and players have to forget about those kind of things. Too many times kids and young people worry about everything. They worry about playing time. They worry about how their teammates feel about each other and the coaching staff, this and that. This is a weekend where they can really redeem themselves and show how talented the ball club they are. They could start tonight against Iowa State and carry it through this weekend.
It's one thing to come in here as a senior, as you did, knowing you're in the NCAA tournament. A different feeling, you're a senior, as Jaron Boone is, knowing you have to win this to get in the NCAA tournament. Your last hurrah.
Yeah, considering Boone and Strickland, it seems like they've been here forever. And the reason it seems that's because they played a lot as freshmen, and they're awfully good players. Opponents like to see those kind of guys leave because they've been around. But this is their last hurrah. Time to show the Big 8 Conference what they're really made of.
So we are set to play Game 3. Kansas and Kansas State winners this afternoon. Much different. Kansas winning 88-55. Kansas State 58-55 over Oklahoma State. Kansas beating Colorado, and Tyronn, the freshman point guard, sets the Husker offense.
Tyronn, one of the quickest ball players in the conference, will push the basketball whenever the opportunity presents.
Mikki Moore threw it off Kelvin Cato and saves it for Nebraska.
What you're going to see with Iowa State, especially on the defensive end, is team defense. They communicate well. They'll play a little zone, box and 1, triangle and 2. They'll do different things, but their communication is outstanding.
John, I watched Nebraska practice yesterday, as you did, watched them shoot this morning. Didn't see any smiles out of the Husker contingent. So what does that mean? Does that mean they're kind of down? Does that mean they are determined?
You know, you never can tell.
Tyronn came up short with the first try of the ball game, and then almost chased it down. Eric Strickland saves it for the Huskers.
I think you made the call, Fred. And the fact that the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of this ball game, we'll see Nebraska team. Which one will be here? The one that played the last month, only won 1 of the last 10 games, or the one that started at 15-4?
Mikki Moore sticks a shot right about at the edge of his range, and the Huskers off to a quick start.
Man-to-man defense by the Cornhuskers. Look for 2 guys, Pratt and Willoughby. They will set a lot of picks for both players. Willoughby, the jump shooter. Pratt, more of a penetrator scorer.
And Strickland has Willoughby down inside. They go to Kenny Pratt, knocked away in there. And a race for the basketball. And Jacy Holloway comes up with it for the Cyclones. And Willoughby's going to go at Strickland one-on-one and then give it up. And Willoughby thought he got fouled. Shawn Bankhead for the Cyclones.
No easy baskets against Strickland.
Willoughby has picked up the dribble, needs help, finds it down inside. The clock went off. Good defensive set for Nebraska. So the Huskers grab the 2-0 lead.
Good hands defensively right down low. But Pratt gets after the basketball and tells his teammate to pick it up and shields Lou out of play.
Mikki Moore. Tyronn, Jacy Holloway with him. Now Boone in the circle, blocked by Kelvin Cato. Kelvin Cato is a shot blocker. That's his 52nd of the year.
And that is a Iowa State record. He was tied with Victor Alexander. also put Kelvin Cato in his first year in the record book.
Now foul called against Cato down at the other end. Let me ask you, John, as a jump shooter, when you're out at that range about 15 feet or so, when the guy comes out and gets your shot from that range, what does that do?
It depends how good a shooter you are. you usually don't worry about it. A miss, if you're a real good shooter, a miss is a miss, whether he blocked it or not.
Yeah.
If you're an okay shooter, that may bother you, but I think most shooters would say, well, I missed one.
I saw a game in the NCAA tournament in Connecticut, I believe it was. Hakeem Olajuwon came out of the lane and got a player from southwest Louisiana about 20 feet from the basket. Shot good.
Strickland knocks in a three. Interesting, Shawn Bankhead, a pretty good defender guarding Strickland.
Anyway, when Olajuwon got that one that far out, he really changed the game.
We played Olajuwon when I was at Missouri. He was at Houston. He changed some things a little bit inside, and that was when he was pretty raw.
Yeah, had a pretty good team with him. Rose on that team?
They had Mishaw. They had Williams.
Drexler was on.
No, Drexler was there.
Here comes Strickland. Open court. Going to take Holloway to the bucket. Spinning move. Gave it back. Mikki Moore fouled by Kenny Pratt.
That's a transition we talked about. Nebraska will push at every opportunity. Iowa State has to get back and guard the basket. I was thinking about that team, and you said Drexler, Michael Young was on that ball club. Yeah. About 5 or 6 NBA guys.
The Nebraska bench really getting excited over there, and the Huskers off to a good start.
And that's good to see. The teammates are into it, pulling for each other. They haven't had a lot of that in the last month. Good hustle, good pass.
He banked it off Mikey's nose. Mikki hung on.
It's not easy. Not easy to catch that ball when it's that close to you.
No, Mikki Moore, 6'11" junior from Gaffney, South Carolina. Real name is Clinton. Goes by Mikki. Danny Nee, 10th year at Nebraska, 16th year as a college head coach. His team started 15-4 this year, then lost 9 straight, and their scoring really dried up on him. Mikki Moore has 4 points. Those first games they averaged over 80 points, and they've only done that one of the last 12 games. They're down to an 81-point average now.
Expect the ball right now to go to Pratt or Willoughby.
Pratt got it to Willoughby, and Willoughby, as Strickland fell down, bingo, knocks it down.
They'll give him a 2.
7-2 Nebraska.
Reason he's on the first team All Big 8. He does score, but he hits so many big baskets for this team.
Blocking foul.
Tim Floyd not happy with that call. Remember, Tim Floyd didn't last real long in this tournament last year, the first ball game against Missouri.
Yeah, he finished it at the hotel. It was quite a night.
His ball club came back to win that game.
Terry Reed took over as the head coach, and they came a long way back and won it. Mikki Moore hit that shot earlier, missed there. Kenny Pratt with a rebound. Here come the Cyclones, down 5.
Last year, Iowa State lost the championship game to Oklahoma State. It was a Hurl Beecham show in this tournament. A couple of years ago, Danny Nee's ball club. Derek Piakowski leading the way, won the championship.
There's Kenny Pratt. He can score, but he missed that one, and now a collision on the rebound. Eric Strickland goes down. And they call a walk. Actually, I didn't walk. I got pushed.
Just 2 solid bodies.
I was catapulted.
Boom.
How are you not going to walk?
Yeah, that's it.
Inside, Shawn Bankhead, who's not really a scorer, picks up a bucket.
Nice pass by Holloway on the inbounds play.
7-4 now. Nebraska up 3. Tyronn against Holloway.
You will hear a lot of Iowa State Cyclone fans in the stands. They call this Hilton South. They bring quite a contingent down here. They try to take over Kansas City.
I walked back by our truck between sessions, and the Iowa State fans were holding their pep rally back there. They were rocking our truck, I think. Strickland airballed it. Mikki Moore has it and takes it up. Score.
Well, Cyclone fans, they basically reserve Kelly's on Thursday night before this tournament down in Westport. I think all non-Cyclone fans stay away from that area.
I was going to say, they basically reserve Westport, I think. Mikki Moore, who's averaged 9 points a game, has come up big the last few. He's averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds the last 3, and he has 6 points here tonight. And Willoughby hunting a shot is fouled.
Boy, is he quick off the dribble. And he is such a good shooter that you have to honor him close enough, because he can just rise up and knock in the jumper. Once you get close, his first step is explosive.
So we have a timeout early going here. 15:27 left in our first half. Nebraska by 5. We go to a message from your hometown Phillips 66 station. You'll find good things for cars and the people who drive them.
Side here in Kemper Arena, game 3 on this 4-game start to the Big 8 tournament, the final one. Let's check out some results from this afternoon. First of all, in the Atlantic Coast Conference, Maryland defeated Duke, and the top seed Georgia Tech over NC State. In the Southeastern Conference today, a big win for Kentucky over Florida, 100-76, and Mississippi State survived Auburn, 69-58. Let's go back to Fred.
Thank you, John Sanders. Good to have you with us in Kansas City. Actually, almost back home for John Sanders. He spent some good years in this city. Now the voice of the Cleveland Indians baseball team, who with a little bit of improvement could have a heck of a year. They might lose one this year. Might not. Jacy Holloway, Kenny Pratt blocked down in there. There were 2 Huskers after him, Garner and Mikki Moore. And Mikki Moore got that one all by himself. Strickland, Jaron Boone, Mikki Moore down the lane, kicked it back out. And Boone is going to go for it and get it. That's a 2.
Jaron Boone has a lot to prove this weekend also. There were pro scouts. They mentioned him highly at the start of this year, but has had a disappointing year for Nebraska, both on and off the court a little bit. Has not been the leader they would like him to be, but he has a chance on a weekend to put some value back in the scouts. Pretty tough to block Kenny Pratt's shot, and the reason is he's so good with ball fakes. He got it blocked once by Garner, then by Mikki Moore. Moore could have turned, maybe laid it in, but Jaron Boone, pretty smooth stroke.
Now Garner has committed the foul at the other end, and Kenny Pratt with a leader.
That's what he does best.
First 2 points, Kenny Pratt. Cyclones down 5. Ron Lou, there's Boone. And Kenny Pratt able to hang on to the rebound. How about scouts? There always a lot of them around. Marty Blake is here. He seems to be at every basketball game being played at this time of the year.
Yes.
I don't know how he does it. Kenny Pratt doesn't want that shot. 19 on the shot clock. Willoughby wants that one. And Mikki Moore clears the rebound. Look at Tyronn Lue get it up there. And he's going to pull up and let it fly. Nothing there. Willoughby, giddy up. Here we go the other way.
Back and forth.
Bankhead. Willoughby.
And that's not necessarily the style for Iowa State. They will take an easy one if they get it. But they like the half-court set.
They have some discipline, don't they?
Yes, they really do.
Clay Edwards, Kenny Pratt. Pratt working in traffic. Edwards, 12 on the shot clock. Going to have to cut it loose. 8 on the shot clock and down inside. Kenny Pratt spinning to the bucket and foul. Mikki Moore went up and got it, but the foul came first.
Mikki Moore, pretty good shot blocker, and he'll come from the weak side. So whoever he's guarding, that man has to be ready to go to the board. Watch the quickness of Kenny Pratt. He's a scorer, not necessarily a shooter. Gets the ball quickly to the basket, draws contact on Garner. Again, we talked about free throws. They have not shot any in this ball game, but in the win at Lincoln, they shot 25 of 39. They made 13 more than Nebraska. They shot 20 more free throws. And win at Iowa State, they made 10 more. They shot 13 more attempts, and they've done that to teams all throughout this Big 8 conference.
For the season, the Cyclones have made 525. Their opponents have only shot 412 and made 273.
That's an amazing stat.
Isn't it, though? That's nearly 200 points for the year. You like to strike, though.
Nice place to be. Most players should like it. They didn't like it last ball game we were watching.
Oklahoma State struggling at the line all year. This Hornets stopped play to get a substitute in a ball game for Nebraska. Tyronn Lue had the ball up there, but Terrence Badgett is checking in. And Eric Strickland's going to take a breather here. Terrence Badgett broke a backboard out of Colorado recently and was cut by the flying glass, but he's fine.
Physical player, 6'6", about 230. Aggressive defender, pretty good offensive rebound.
Member of the Big 8 all-bench teams. Lue, Mikki Moore. Mikki doesn't want it there. Finds Jaron Boone. Huskers up 3. Badgett setting the screen for Lue. Lue didn't take the shot. 14 on the shot clock and a walk. Iowa State stepping up the defensive pressure. The Cyclones can play some defense.
Yeah, they really do. They get after it man to man. And good look at Tim Floyd, who's just done an outstanding job. Big 8 Coach of the Year.
43 and 19 in 2 years at Iowa State and returned 5% of the scoring from last year's team. And here they are, 20 and 8.
1-3-1 half-court defense.
Iowa State pretty much unanimous pick to finish last in the conference, finished second. There's Willoughby with the floater and partially blocking there. Hamilton got a hand
Good
on it.
pass.
Cato can't convert it. They fight for it, and here comes Tyronn. Look at him get it up there. He's fouled. Boy, he's quick.
Yeah, Cato just couldn't find the handle down there, and once Lou gets it in his hands, you better start retreating. You're not going to stop him once he's on the move.
He's got me wavering a little bit. I said this afternoon, well, let's look at the play first.
The defense, look at the shot block. Mikki Moore, they've all been coming at it. That time it was Hamilton. Pretty good pass there, and Cato just couldn't hang on to it going up for the shot. And then once Lou gets it, he's like a rocket.
Well, he is. I said this afternoon, I thought Lou was the fastest guy in the league with the ball. Then I watched shots line and thought, well, maybe they're even. Now I'm kind of leaning back toward Lou.
I think Tyronn Lue really pushes it.
Yeah.
Probably faster than anybody. Probably doesn't have the control yet in the thought process of John Bond, but really pushes this basketball. You know, he had a ball game against Oregon this year, 30 points and 9 assists in December. I'm sure Danny Nee thought, you know, we got a pretty good one now.
Suburb of Kansas City, Raytown is where he graduated from high school. He started in Mexico, Missouri, down around where Jeff City is.
Yeah, well, just north of Columbia. Good pass. 1-3-1 half-court trap, and Jacy Holloway, who's pretty unheralded in this league, but does a lot of nice things for the Cyclones.
Kelvin Cato finished it. Now Mikki Moore finishes it at the other end.
I'll finish it right back at you.
8 points for Mikki Moore. And the Huskers up by 5.
You know, Nebraska's playing awfully loose. With some smiles on their faces.
Dedric Willoughby went at it from about 28 feet. Here comes Lou again. Jaron Boone is fouled by Shawn Bankhead. His second. Shawn Bankhead, the 6'6" junior from Pacoima, California. And we have a timeout. 11:54 left in first half action. We're back after this from Southwest Airlines. Flying the low-fare airline is just plain smart.
The dunk. That time he threaded it through the defense, and Cato flushed it home.
Kelvin Cato, 6'11" junior from Decatur, Georgia, transferred from South Alabama. There's his Iowa State's new record. He's broke Victor Alexander's old record with 1 in this game. He now has the 52 for the year. Strickland had it knocked away in bounds. Willoughby and Jacy Holloway. Holloway to the rack. Jacy Holloway's first 2 points of the game. Now it's just a 3-point lead, Nebraska. Iowa State's picked it up defensively. Strickland, after a tough shot, can't. And a scramble for it. The ball belongs to Nebraska.
A weakness for both ball clubs.
Look at Tim Floyd.
This whole year has been rebounding.
Safe to say, Tim does not agree with the call.
I'll tell you what, he robosizes the whole ball game, doesn't he?
He does. And in practice.
You know, both teams did not rebound well all Big 8 conference. Oh, looked like off his knee. Good call by the referee.
Strickland.
Boy, you don't see him pass up.
No, he was wide open.
Maybe lost control.
Got inside. Turn around, won't fall. Benson Hamilton, the freshman, couldn't drop it. And here come the Cyclones within 3 points. John, I think it's safe to say that Tim Floyd walks more than any coach in America in practice.
Yeah, and in the ballgame. Yeah. I mean, he is busy on the sideline.
Pace is constant.
But you're right. We watched him practice during the year, and always on the move. Good look at Benson Hamilton.
His first foul.
A lot of pushing and shoving down low. Cato trying to get position. Hamilton in the first ball game had 19 points, 9 rebounds. In the lost Iowa State, went 9 of 9 from the field. Good looking freshman.
Willoughby. Terrence Badgett defending him now. Badgett is 6'6", defending Willoughby outside.
And Badgett's really aggressive. I think you can get him in foul trouble when you take the ball to him because he overreacts a little bit too much.
Cato blocked by Benson Hamilton, the freshman. Got it back. Shot good. That was Willoughby.
Yeah, Willoughby caught that one.
4 points, Dedric Willoughby, and now it's a 1-point lead, Nebraska. Tom Wald has the ball for the Huskers, and the Iowa State fans have come to life here.
Man-to-man defense. Kenny, Pratt, and Holloway are face guarding their men. Tim Floyd always says that usually reduces the number of touches that player's going to get.
Strickland fouled by Kenny Pratt. First foul, Kenny Pratt. Nebraska has 4 team fouls, 5 Iowa State. Tim Floyd talking to Kenny Pratt.
Sometimes what's difficult, though, if you face guard, you have no idea where the basketball, and that was where it was, and that was a time right there. The ball was loose. If Kenny Pratt turns around and picks it up, he doesn't see it. Strickland picks it up, penetrates, and draws contact.
Shawn Bankhead set to return for Iowa State. Strickland on the line. Just a good athlete, Eric Strickland. He has 4 points in this one. 6'3" senior from Bellevue. Outstanding defensive player who has scored just under 1,500 points. 1,496 now for his career. Ron Boone 1,532 for his career. Strickland gets them both. 80% free throw shooter. Huskers by 3, 10-20.
I don't think Badgett can really guard Willoughby.
Willoughby gave it up to Shawn Bankhead. Modderman.
You have to guard Modderman away from the basket. A standing 3-point shooter.
Willoughby takes Badgett into the lane. Now gives it up to Bankhead, and he's fouled by Terrence Badgett on the switch. Badgett picked him up and then fouled him.
Badgett just really an aggressive defender. Likes to push and shove and hold, and gets called for a lot of fouls.
See that little bandage on his shoulder? That's what's left of the flying glass cut he got out of Colorado when he broke the backboard. Mikki Moore was cut a little bit in that thing too. They ended the game with 1:09 to play, and Colorado had a 14-point win. Modderman, Strickland all over him. Holloway fires in the corner. Willoughby lost Badgett for a moment. The shot doesn't fall, and here come the Huskers. Look at Strickland. Get it up to Badgett. Terrence Badgett threw a line drive off the glass and got it to stick.
Speed, speed, and more speed. They just come at you.
Well, Badgett gets down there for a big guy. His first 2 points. And the Huskers by 5. Down inside, trying to find Cato, and Badgett had it out of there for a moment. Now Cato saves at the Bankhead.
You know, you're not going to lob it over Hamilton or Mikki Moore if they're front and inside, unless it's clean in the back, and you can put it a long ways from it. You're not just going to throw over the top of it.
Bankhead with a quick pop off the baseline, his 4th point of the night. Huskers have a 3-point lead in the ball with 9:10 left in the first half. Strickland against Bankhead. Badgett. Mikki Moore. Took that shot a couple of times. Mikki Moore has 10 points in the first half.
And Mikki just looked at the bench and said, they can't stop me. And I think that's a shot Iowa State can probably live with. There's Willoughby off the dribble. Holy
He gave it up to Cato, and he's
what a play. What a play. Simple move right by Badgett. This kid is really good.
I thought he was wrong to give it up, but Cato is going to have a chance for a 3-point play here.
Smart play. Nebraska's been blocking shots. Look at that. Right by him. Here comes Hamilton. Hamilton's coming for the block. Look at that pass. And there's the reaction. All Big 8 first team.
Strickland's first foul. Kelvin Cato, free throw line for the first time tonight. 67% shooter. He's a good athlete, isn't he, Jim?
Yeah, he really is. And he has a chance as he matures and gets a little better offensively. He may be able to play at the next level just because of his athletic ability, how he plays defense. What Tim Floyd has instilled in these players is a pride in the defensive end. And those kind of things carry on. And if you're athletic and big and add a little bit of offensive ability, a guy like Kelvin Cato might be able to play at the next level. Or he'll be playing somewhere.
Iowa State was down 7 now, stopping a bucket, and they could have this thing tied. Jaron goes for 3, comes up short. And Lou saves it to Strickland.
Oh, that kid is quick.
Oh, some hustle. Now Strickland's going to pop it. Well, there's the stop. Now to see if Iowa State can get the time. Pratt to Willoughby. Klay Edwards. Mikki Moore out covering him beyond the line. Now Willoughby and Strickland. It's a good matchup.
Yeah, it really is. 2 very quick plays.
Bankhead faces Jaron. Pratt, Willoughby. And inside they go to the baseline. Shawn Bankhead can't get it. Klay Edwards got it back. Twisting shot.
Oh, that's big.
We're tied. Cyclones are back.
Iowa State needs production from other players, and it's nice to get a good move by Boone.
Boone has 4. Huskers right back up by 2.
You used to watch Boone's dad play right here when he played for the Kings. Ron Boone, outstanding player, one of the great shooters in NBA or ABA history.
But he could shoot it, couldn't he? Pratt gives it up. Jacy Holloway for three.
Cyclones are responding.
First lead for Iowa State, up one. And listen to the Cyclone fans in Kemper.
It's amazing.
They got numbers. They are here. Trying to move that Hilton Magic south. Boone. Tyronn in traffic. Gave up a good shot. Mikki Moore for the lean. No. Tip. No. And Lou runs it down again and is fouled. Dedric Willoughby.
They'll call Willoughby for a little trip. Boy, this is exciting basketball. Both teams playing hard. Iowa State having a hard time with the height of Nebraska. Pretty good defense by Klay Edwards. Stopped the penetration. You can see the height advantage Nebraska has. And here's just a little trip. They stepped on each other's foot. Tim Floyd.
Compete a little, Tim. Come on, compete.
Don't hold it back.
Well, he gets into it. He is an outstanding coach. Voted the coach of the year in the conference. Poor Roy Williams suffers from expectations. He could be the coach of the year every year for the job he does at his club. We've got a 33-point win today. Tyronn missed the second. Shawn Bankhead rebounds it. 6:54 left in the first half. We're tied at 24. Huskers were up 7.
Back to the 1-3-1 half-court zone defense. Look for Willoughby along the baseline. They'll try to free him up some shots, or Holloway can knock in the open shot, and Pratt inside the middle lane area.
Corner Bankhead, 15 on the shot clock. Holloway able to save it, fouled by Eric Strickland. His second.
You know, Strickland's so strong. Anytime he touches someone, he feels bad that he gets called, but he is quick. He thought he had a steal there.
You have to hand it to this Nebraska club. They go 15-4, then they lose 9 straight. They finally break that their last game against Kansas State at home. And they're really competing hard so far in this ballgame.
And it looks like they're having fun. I mean, you can see some smiles on the faces, what you want to see. They're knocking in some shots. They're patting each other on the back. You know, as much turmoil as they've gone through, you know, there's a lot of internal things going on amongst the players, too. It's just not coaches and players. There's a lot of things internal amongst the players that hasn't worked out, but trying to pull together this weekend.
John, I just watched them before the game. They got together, as all teams do, in a huddle, players only, out by the free throw line. And I'm sitting there watching them thinking, gee, I wonder what's going on in there right now.
Well, they're either saying, let's get it together, or let's get done and go have some fun.
If this is it, let's go down swinging.
That's right.
Timeout here, 6:32 left in a half. We'll be back after this message from your good friends at Phillips 66.
Clean water.
Tonight's Big 8 Conference Tournament game is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every seat of every flight, everywhere it flies. Flying the low-fare airline is just plain smart. An update now from Studio 66, quarterfinal action from the ACC. Wake has the early lead over Virginia, and in Conference USA, the semifinal matchup, Cincinnati by 10 over Louisville. Let's take you back to Big 8 action. Here's Fred White.
Thank you, John Sanders. John Sunvold, Kemper Arena. You played a lot of games here because it seemed like you always got into the championship game of the tournament. And I know you played some other than tournament games here, special matchup. You like this place?
I loved it. I played, actually, when I got in the NBA, the Kansas City Kings were still here. And one of my favorite places in the whole country was right here.
And not just because it was home.
No, you know, as a player, sometimes you walk on court and the lighting is good and the baskets feel good. And this is one of those places. Sometimes you walked in a place and after shooting around or doing things, you didn't even want any part of the floor. But this is a good place to play basketball.
Iowa State gets it back. Well, it's good. Sometimes it seems like you walk in an arena and those orange rims just jump out. They just stand there for you and you can really see them. Other times the background doesn't seem so good.
Yeah, and this is, again, this is one of the good places. And that's probably why we've seen so many good ball games.
Good floor.
They're going to four corners offense. What they like to do here, Willoughby and Pratt, like to take you off the dribble. Bernard Garner will have a little bit of hard time with Kenny Pratt. Mikki Moore back to protect the basket.
The turns are matched. Holloway and Lou, 10 on the shot clock. And it's going to be Holloway giving it up to Cato. Down inside for the slam.
Well, that's not the guy Nebraska wants you to get beat by. Jacy Holloway goes right by Tyronn Lue.
Boone with the floater at the other end. Oh, what a shot. 6, Jaron Boone.
Mr. Boone has showed up to play this night.
Yes, he has. 28-26, Iowa State.
Tom Wald now has the tough matchup with Willoughby. Best thing is denying the basketball. Trying not to let him catch it. That's too easy. Now you have to get on your heels.
13 on the shot clock. Willoughby working at the circle. Pratt. Flashing move in the air ball. Mikki Moore.
Might have been partially blocked again. Nebraska getting their hands on a lot of basketball.
Tyronn Boone going to take it off the dribble. Not quite. Almost looked like he tried a little too hard on that shot. He got there in good shape, and it looked like he kind of tried to guide it a little bit. Mikki Moore with the foul.
I wonder if Father Ron maybe called him and said, you know what, son? You have a couple games left to impress some people.
There's a thing called money.
Yes, there is.
There's a team called the league called the NBA.
There's some things called jobs, son, and there's a couple areas you can go to.
Kelvin Cato will go to the line. He has 7 points tonight, the 6'11 junior. Played 1 year at South Alabama. Bama blocked 85 shots there, and has the 52 blocks this year to set a new Iowa State record.
That's nice for Cato's teammates. They can be aggressive on the outside because they know Cato's back there, and he changes a lot of shots.
Played with the big guy Steve Stefanovich. I don't remember how much of a shot blocker he was.
Steve wasn't a big shot blocker. He took up a lot of space in the middle. He was a very physical player, very good, solid fundamental player defensively. But he didn't block a lot of shots. We didn't rely on him to block a lot of shots.
Tom Wald back for Nebraska. Iowa State by 2 with 4:07 left in the first half. Tyronn against Willoughby.
Iowa State in the box and 1. You can see Holloway down your lower screen on Jaron Boone. He will follow him everywhere, and he'll face guard him, try not to let him catch a basketball.
Moore off the baseline, no. And Pratt is fouled by Bernard Garner. Bernard Garner's third foul with 3:50 left in the first half.
Garner's had a good year for this ball club. Junior college transfer, JUCO player of the year last year. Big, solid body.
Iowa State giving up only 64 points a game, the best in the Big 8. Nebraska averaging over 80. You'd have to say so far that Iowa State's dictating the pace, especially now that they've gone to the four corners.
You know, and they normally do. They do a good job offensively handling the basketball until they get what they want to. That wasn't pretty.
Strickland. Blue.
You know, as Nebraska, we talked about how explosive. Their last 12 games, they've only gone over 80 points once. So they have had a struggle putting the ball in the basket.
They lost those 9 in a row. Blue. Oh, behind the back to Moore, to Garner, and Bernard Garner knocks it down. We'll see.
Again, I think if you're Tim Floyd, you live with those kind of shots. Garner from the outside, Mikki Moore from the outside. I don't think Tim Floyd feels that is going to beat them tonight.
Modderman hasn't had a shot yet. He's been on the floor for a while now. Willoughby goes against Boone. Holloway whistles one down inside to Cato, who lays it up so softly.
Right on the money. Mikki Moore took a gamble. Holloway pretty deft at passing that ball.
That wasn't a changeup either. He got it there. 9 now for Kelvin Cato, and a whistle blowing out on the floor. And
looks like they called a blocking foul on Lou.
Tyronn set a pick.
And what's tough for Lou in the motion offense, he got called for a blocking foul. One of the problems was Strickland was on the move, and it's hard to set a good pick. You'd like Strickland to kind of be waiting over there for the pick, but he was antsy to get the basketball.
I'll tell you what, the Husker coaching staff has been working hard along that bench tonight, talking to players as they go in and out of the ball game. Jimmy Williams, one of the assistants, just went down and talked to a player coming out.
Scott Howard over there, who played at Iowa State. Coach down at Miami. For Leonard Hamilton, who's formerly at Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Kenny Pratt has 5 points now. And short with a try. 3-point lead, Iowa State. Strickland. Watch it, guys.
Here's the box and 1 again. You're watching that dribbling, aren't you, Fred?
Yeah.
You're watching that carrying stuff going on. Lou just splits the defense.
I'm thinking the dribble is going to become extinct.
Yeah, I tell you what, they put the hand on the side and underneath the ball. Strickland does it. Lou does it. Willoughby will do it.
This afternoon, Chauncey Billups toted it around with him from time to time.
crossover becomes a little easier, you can do that.
I think the dribble will be extinct. Cato couldn't catch it. Nebraska gets it back. Timeout here. 2:09 left in our first half. We got a game. Iowa State up by 1. We'll bring you right back to Kemper Arena in Kansas City in the Big 8 tournament.
Well, it can't get any worse than this.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
I stand corrected.
Make it a Bud Light.
You're never gonna get it open.
The new Kawasaki Vulcan 1500 Classic. With the biggest V-twin ever to hit the asphalt, you've never felt anything like it.
People want variety, so corporates come up with the burger of the month. We take our own burger and put it in this pretty little box.
But isn't it the same burger?
You're not listening.
At Sonic, you'll always find something deliciously different. Like our chicken sandwich, your choice of breaded or grilled. Right now with fries, it's at a special low price. So break away from the ordinary and drive into something different. Sonic, driving for a change.
We have a good one. Iowa State by 1 over Nebraska. And we're going to show you the box and 1. Jacy, Holloway, chasing Boone. You can see underneath it's a box set. 4 guys are just playing a zone. 2 up top, 2 below. They will help out whenever they can inside, wherever the ball goes. And Holloway stays on his man at all times. This is a miss. The next time down, what happened, though, Tyronn went through the defense. They were a box. He split the top 2 guys and then got a basket.
Saw Doug Vance from Kansas there. Max Falkenstein in the Blue Jacket next to him. Max in his 50th year broadcasting Kansas sports.
And went to the Kansas Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir. And the KU Hall of Fame. Well deserved. Coming out with a book with Doug Vance this spring, I understand, about the history of sports at KU and Max's remembrances of it all.
Iowa State back to a man-to-man defense.
Jaron Boone.
Boy, Boone's on a roll.
He's got 8.
There is an added bounce to his step tonight.
Points are coming for you. May not have expected them to start the game. Mikki Moore with 10, Cato with 9. Both players inside are scoring.
Yeah, Holloway with 7.
Willoughby at the moment only has 4, but we've seen him go off and get them in bunches. He's against Boone right now. There he goes. That one wouldn't fall for 3-point range. Pratt had it, lost it. Now it bounces around and saved by Nebraska. Lou. Strickland. Willoughby gets the rebound. Willoughby's pretty patient for a score, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. I saw him last week in his last home game. He struggled the whole ball game. He had an injured knee. He struggled his whole ball game with his shooting until the last 3 minutes, and he knocked in everything to win that ball game.
Shawn Bankhead with his 3rd foul with just 57 seconds left in the first half. Bad time to get the 3rd, and he's going to come down for a while. Now Tom Wall back in, replacing Strickland for Nebraska. Eric Strickland has 2. They're going to get him out of there for the last minute. 22nd timeout taken here. 32-31, Nebraska by a point. The Huskers got off quickly, got up by 7.
Well, if I'm Nebraska in a possession, I want to take a look at Jaron Boone off a lot of picks. He's been moving. He's shooting the ball well. Put the ball in his hand as he comes off a pick and let him dictate some things. Because he's on a roll, let him put some pressure on the defense.
Missouri and Oklahoma will finish it up later tonight. This afternoon, Kansas beat Colorado 88-55, and Kansas State beat Oklahoma State 58-55 in a game that was just tight throughout. Oklahoma State again struggling at the free throw line. The question now is any Sutton's ball club in? I have a feeling they still may be, even with the loss, and I think the win does put Kansas State in, John.
You know, a lot of it depends, too, who wins the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, does Nebraska get hot and go through, and do they get the automatic berth? Can Missouri put some magic in this building? Norm Stewart's been awful successful here. So it really depends who wins the tournament. Then they can start selecting.
Traveling call. Well, Missouri has won it the last 4 odd years, I believe, have they not?
Yeah, that's right.
89, 91, 93.
You know, they came in here a couple years ago and they were the 7th seed and went right through. But you never know. It's a different kind of ball club. Sometimes hard to figure them out.
They've won it twice as the 8th seed, I believe. The 3 seed and the 6 seed have never won the tournament. That's correct?
Nebraska 2-1-2 zone defense.
12 on the shot clock. Cato tried to jam it in there to Kenny Pratt, who couldn't quite come up with it. It's knocked away and out of bounds to Iowa State with 8 on the shot clock.
It looked like Cato was going to go cross court to Willoughby, who was open. But again, Nebraska is getting their hands on a lot of passes and a lot of shots against Iowa State. Very active defensively.
Clay Edwards out. Shawn Bankhead in for Iowa State. And now Terrence Badgett replaces Garner for Nebraska. 8 on the shot clock. 15.5 left in the half. Bankhead, Kenny Pratt, Holloway, 4 on the shot clock. We're going to have to take one. Now there's 2 on the shot clock as they'll play it in the baseline.
Now you run a play, try to free someone off the pick, and when they catch it, they have to shoot. Now Nebraska fans are showing their appreciation.
Husker fans getting into it here. Huskers up by a point. 9 seconds left in the half. Kenny Pratt off target. And Benson Hamilton up to Tom Wall. 2 seconds left in the half, and Wall's going to get the shot blocked by Kelvin Cato. That's the end of that. They said the shot didn't get off in time. So we are on halftime here. It is 32-31 Nebraska, and the Huskers holding tough here against the number 2 seed Iowa State. We're at halftime. We'll be right back.
Today's Big 8
game, then fell behind, came back and closed out the half with an 8-3 run to take the 32-31 halftime lead into the locker room. Welcome back. Red White along with John Sunvold and John Sanders. Happy to have you with us here at the Big 8 tournament, Kemper Arena. 1 game to go tonight. Oklahoma, Missouri yet to play here this evening. We are at halftime. Our halftime stats brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low-fare airline is just plain smart.
Well, Fred, really just a pretty even basketball game. You have a 1-point difference. You can see the field goal percentage. And one of the keys we said early for Nebraska is keep Iowa State off the free throw line, and they've done that. So pretty even game, 6 blocks for Nebraska.
So that's how they got here. And again, it's a 1-point game at halftime. Now let's take a look at our Shelter Insurance first half highlights.
Well, on the Nebraska side, Mikki Morris had a pretty good first half. 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 block shot. He has hit a couple outside jump shots, which has ignited his team. Most people think Mikki Morris is just down low. This time it's on defense. Help side. They make a block. Stays with it. Garner makes a first block. Mikki Morris makes a second block. There are 2 blocks there out of the 6 they have the first half. Dedric Willoughby penetration. Kelvin Cato has 9 points on tonight's ball game, and credit that man by the penetration. And then Jacy Holloway, the penetration, the kick to Cato. He goes up. Finish it was the dunk.
Celebrating its 50th year. For your life, home, car, farm, or business, Shelter Insurance will always be there for you. Again, we're at halftime. Nebraska's up by a point over Iowa State, the number 7 seed Cornhuskers. Right now, 1 point in front of the number 2 seed Iowa State. Kansas State have both won today. Another game to go after this one, and we'll be right back. The pace would seem to favor Iowa State, but right now it's the Huskers by 1. They've led by as many as 7. Iowa State by as many as 4 in the first half. Phillips 66 proudly presents the Big 8 Conference Basketball Tournament. The 20th and final Big 8 tournament. It'll be the Big 12 next year. And this is day 1 and game 3. Again, Kansas and Kansas State won earlier today, and they will match up tomorrow in the first game of the semifinal round. Mikki Morris with 10, Jaron Boone 8 for Iowa State, Cato 9, Holloway 7, Pratt 5. The Iowa State points coming from a couple of unexpected sources.
Well, one thing you see, Kenny Pratt, he was only 1 of 6 from the field. Now, this was a player of the week last week in the Big 8. Had 31 against Kansas State, 25 against Colorado. He's averaged 26 points his last 3 ball games, shooting nearly 70%. So he's going to have to get on track second half.
Dedric Willoughby, if you're wondering, had 4 points in the first half. Didn't really shoot the ball that much. Well, he did too. He had 8 shots, I guess. He was 2 for 8 in the first half. Didn't seem like he was shooting it that much. He wasn't forcing anything. He's likely to just explode in the second half. We've seen him do it before. Winner of this game will meet the winner of tonight's final game. Oklahoma and Missouri match up next. Well, there's some teams you just don't know what to expect from them. Missouri's one, Nebraska another one.
Yeah, those are probably the two teams that you really, when you come into this tournament, if you're playing, you might not want to face either one because you're not sure what you might get. If they play a good ball game, you're going to have a long night.
Sending his Huskers back out for the second half. Iowa State will have the ball to start it. Bankhead will inbounds to Dedric Willoughby.
Back to the 1-3-1 zone defense.
Pratt, Holloway, Willoughby. Didn't pull the trigger there. Bankhead fires it down inside. Pratt bobbled in a moment. Now it's loose. And Nebraska has it. Jaron Boone able to get it on the floor to avoid the travel.
And Nebraska a good zone defensive team because they're so quick to the basketball and they have long arms. You put Mikki more in the middle. Down there with Bernard Garner, they can both get to the basketball quickly and make it difficult.
Garner, Tyronn Lue down inside. Cato fouling Mikki Moore. Kelvin Cato's second personal foul. And Mikki Moore will go to the line. He's 2 for 2 at the line. Had 10 points in the first half. Over his last 3 games, he's averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds. So Mikki Moore has really stepped his game up of late.
Well, both centers, Moore and Cato, had terrific first half. Moore only averages about 9 points, had 10. Cato averages 9 and had 9 the first half. So both the big men playing well.
Offensive substitution here by Tim Floyd. Joe Modderman replacing Shawn Bankhead, who's a defensive player. Modderman can shoot it. They're in that zone. Nebraska was the last trip down court. And Modderman a zone breaker.
Yeah, we'll see if they adjust defensively by Nebraska. They could go back to man-to-man, but looks like they'll stay in the 1-3-1. Modderman needs to find his spot.
Well, we've seen him come in and
he can really shoot it. Talked about Hurl Beacham a year ago, did the same thing in this building.
Holloway doesn't turn it over often, but he did right there, and Lue going to be called for the elbow.
I think the elbow or the hook, and Bill Kennedy. Here's the 1-3-1 zone defense, and you can see how active Nebraska can get to the basketball. And this is just not a good pass by Jacy Holloway. And as Lue pushes, you're going to see the push-off right there. Wasn't a big one, but good enough to call the foul.
Holloway's first turnover tonight. In his career, he's about 3-to-1 assist to turnovers.
Iowa State likes to run a double pick for Willoughby on the baseline against the zone.
Off Kenny Pratt's hands, back to Nebraska. Holloway this year, 127 assists, 52 turnovers coming into this game tonight. Holloway with 3 assists. Well, now they have 2 turnovers for him on the stats monitor. So
Pratt seems to have a hard time really catching the basketball. He's dropped a couple that would have led to shots, and he dropped that one. Should have had it.
Charging foul.
Well, as nice as the first half was, both teams played well. This is starting kind of slowly and sloppy.
That's Bernard Garner's 4th foul. We have 18:37 to play.
Modderman gets there just in time, and Garner now has to be careful on this possession. We're going to try to get him out of the ball game, but not until that ball stops.
Benson Hamilton will replace him. Modderman fouled by Eric Strickland. Strickland's 3rd. Now 18:24 to play, and the Huskers have some foul problems.
Well, we haven't broken a sweat yet, Fred, but a lot of whistles, a lot of dead balls. We mentioned the strength of Strickland, and he just kind of wants to check people, and not much there.
Strickland acting like me. I didn't going to play much, so I always wanted to get in the column somewhere, so I foul a guy real quick.
Back to a man-to-man. Good play by Iowa State.
Wow. Kelvin Cato, he has 11. And the Cyclones back in the 33-33 tie. 18 minutes to play tonight. Good ball game going. Tyronn Lue. Now we've got a foul out on the floor.
That's where communication has to be so good on the defensive end. They cleared out the backside, and then Lue just took Holloway one-on-one. Let's take a look at the back pick by Cato. Frees up Willoughby. Doesn't quite get the handle. All of a sudden, he turns around, makes a terrific pass, and Cato flushes it home.
Willoughby willing to give the ball up, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a nice play. Really nice play.
Jaron Boone gets the roll. He has 10 points, and the Huskers back up by 2.
Boone feels it tonight. You can just tell.
Kenny Pratt works on Mikki Moore, takes him in the lane, and now Moore got the block. Cato throws it up softly and gets it. Cato has 13.
Kenny Pratt having a hard time with Mikki Moore. Pratt now an outside shooter. Every time he gets close, Mikki Moore gets his hand on the basketball.
Cato's career high is 15. He has 13 tonight. Boone. We're tied at 35. Benson Hamilton. Boone.
Another pass. What a nice play.
Mikki Moore has.
Oh, boy.
Moore and
That's
Cato.
with authority right there. These two guys are having some fun.
Two guys that don't often score a lot are doing it here tonight.
Maybe they ought to guard each other. They could stop each other.
What a radical thought. Modderman. Jacy Holloway, 16 on the shot clock.
Strickland
Holloway
doing a nice job on Willoughby. Willoughby set a pick. We'll pick the picker play.
Shot wouldn't fall. Look at Tyronn Lue flashing it up the court. Strickland. Boone. Oh, he turned down a three.
I think he lost control, and he's talking to the ref.
He says something's wrong with the ball.
Well, he lost control of the basketball. Then he turns around and talks to the ref. Strickland throws it right back to him. They're lucky they had the ball. I thought he was going to throw it out of bounds.
They got 23 seconds left on the shot clock. As soon as Boone went up for the shot, it's the 22nd.
They're wiping the basketball.
Kelvin Cato may have a problem there.
Here's where Pratt's had a tough time. That one looked close to be goaltending. Cato follows it up for 2 points, and here's a terrific play by Jaron Boone. Gives it up, and Moore just throws it down with authority. And another one.
Mikki Moore again, and he has 15 points.
It is the Mikki Moore show, Fred.
Mikki Moore with 15, Kelvin Cato with 13. The points coming from the middle for both ball clubs here, and the Huskers have a 4-point lead. Clay Edwards for Iowa State. Willoughby. Modderman spots for three off the front of the rim. Kenny Pratt has it. Can't get it. Tyronn Lue can. And we'll look at him get it up there. Well, it was all pretty except for one thing. They didn't have the rock at the end of the play. And it's out of bounds to Iowa State. We'll go to a message from your hometown Phillips 66 station. You'll find good things for cars and the people who drive them. This one. Huskers playing well.
Yeah, it's a good ball game. Slow start to the second half, but both teams are gearing it up. You see Danny Nee hollering out instructions. But a tough month for Danny Nee.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you hate to fight all that stuff you go through.
Somebody jumps up and accuses him of sending him $8,400 to recruit some player from Africa. And he said, how ridiculous can it get?
Yeah.
Just what I didn't need at the end of all the other problems that we're trying to work out.
Back to the zone defense, 1-3-1. Kenny Pratt trying to find an opening in the middle somewhere. He just has had a frustrating night getting good looks at the basket when he gets inside. The taller, athletic Nebraska team has been bothering him.
Mikki Moore coming out to get Willoughby when he catches it.
Yeah, Hamilton and Mikki Moore, boy, the wingspan is terrific.
Willoughby foul.
And he'll get 3 free throws.
Dedric Willoughby just 2 for 9 so far in this ball game from the floor. That will not count as a shot.
I've been impressed by Mikki Moore's defense. He's been challenging Pratt all night long and trying to go by him. Athletic enough. Look at that. He stays down and gets just a piece of the arm.
Second foul on Mikki Moore. He's been flying out there on the wing to cover Willoughby out of that zone when the ball comes that way.
That's pretty good for a 6'11" guy.
Willoughby 80% free throw shooter. He has 5 points tonight now.
Well, this is where he's made a living all Big 8 season, standing on the free throw line. He and his partner Kenny Pratt have just had some big ball games shooting free throws.
First half of this game, Iowa State 6 out of 9 at the line. Willoughby runs all 3 of them.
Well, we mentioned Willoughby 2 of 9. Now you shoot 3 free throws, that gets your stroke right back on. In his mind, shooter's mind, now he's made his last 3 shots.
He may come down and stick a field goal or 2 now. He has 7 points in the game. 39-38 Huskers. 15:08 to play.
Good block by Cato.
Cato has flipped it out of there now. Picked off by Bankhead. We'll see if they find Willoughby a shot. He wants one. You can just tell. Holloway on the other side. Kenny Pratt. Great move.
use the basket to shield off the defender. And here come the Cyclone crowd.
Back up by 1. Iowa State in front, and listen to the fans. Blue, Mikki Moore over Cato. No, Holloway scores it. Up court, running it out. Dedric Willoughby. Good came it up to Cato.
Tell you what, Willoughby has been terrific as a scorer, giving the ball up to his teammates. He waited for 2 defenders and then just dropped it off.
Here come the Cyclones. He's getting a timeout here. 14:21 to play, and the Cyclones by 3. It's a dunking contest between Moore and Cato. Mikki has 3. Kelvin Cato has 2. Cato has 15 points. So does Mikki Moore.
You know, what makes all Big 8 players isn't just putting the ball in the hole. Look at this. He brings 2 guys and just floats it to the side. That's the 3rd time we've seen him set up his teammate Cato. And I'll tell you what, the Iowa State players have really started waving their hands, getting the crowd into it. They're doing it on the defensive end. And this crowd is noisy.
Kelvin Cato has tied his career high with 15 points in this game. Listen to the crowd.
You would think we're in Ames, Iowa. It's really unbelievable.
It's cold enough to be Ames, Iowa here today, isn't it?
Let's see if the Cornhuskers can find Jaron Boone.
3-point lead, Iowa State.
He has only really had 8 field goal attempts. He's 5 of 8, but I think he's shooting the ball so smoothly that they need to get him involved a little bit more. But credit Iowa State, Bankhead's following him everywhere.
Look at the Cyclones active on defense now. 10 on the shot clock. And they turn it over. That Iowa State defense.
Shawn Bankhead is everywhere. I tell you what, when you play that hard, you can only go a few minutes at a time, and he is just chasing Boone all over the place. Watch this. This is work, folks. This is just not skill. This is a lot of work. That's all defense is. Face guard, now he's going to go back. He gets hit a few times off picks, and all of a sudden the ball's thrown away. That's a reward for a defensive player.
If you've got the right attitude and are willing to work, you can be a good player by rebounding and playing defense with a proper attitude and make yourself a really valuable guy. With both of them, you just have to want it. Kenny Pratt. Mikki Moore came and got it, and they're going to call it goaltending.
You know, Mikki Moore came from up top. Kenny Pratt never saw him, and he pump fake. Nebraska's done a great job of staying on their feet. You'll see Bernard Garner, although he has 4 fouls, he's going to stay down. Kenny Pratt likes to get him up in the air, and here comes Mikki Moore. Mikki thought he had it on the way up. Pretty hard from our angle to call that.
It's called goaltending, and Iowa State up 5, their biggest lead, and now the Cyclone defense going right back to work, and Bankhead's going to be called for a foul, and Modderman's going to replace him now. So they're going to get an offensive player back in the game. Tim Floyd, well, they're working at it.
Bankhead picks up his 4th foul, so he has been working extremely hard.
Boy, 13:30 to play as Bankhead sits down, and Modderman, more of an offensive than a defensive player, replaces him.
Now to be up to Kenny Pratt, and all they're trying to do is keep it out of Boone's hand. Boone only has 10 points, but you know, he's one of those guys that can just score in some bunches. He wants the basketball.
How about Garner? Garner put a little head and shoulders move on Joe Modderman and then popped it.
Boone just looked at him, had a huge smile on it. It's a nice shot, big fella. It doesn't happen a whole lot.
Holloway in trouble at the timeline, trying to get help, and Boone knocked it loose. Kenny Pratt in trouble with it. Says, okay, let's just settle it down for a minute. 17 left on the shot clock. To Cato, to Pratt. Inside out game. Willoughby.
Pratt doesn't want it really too far from the basket.
Cato foul.
Looks like Boone got him on the help side defense. That's for a loose ball, and Kenny Pratt wants to go with it. He wants to get it in there. He's in a hurry, and he just can't. Now he says, you know what? We'll just back it out.
Kelvin Cato to shoot 2. This could be a career high for Cato right here. He's already matched it at 15 points. And it is at 16 points.
What's up, big boy?
Fun to watch different players step up for teams when you come to Kemper Arena, because you know the opposition is going to try to shut down your strength. So you need different ball players to step up to win ball games.
3-point lead Iowa State. 12:37 left in this game. Oklahoma, Missouri finish up the first day next from Kemper Arena in Kansas City. Kansas and Kansas State already winners today. Mikki Moore jump hook. Oh, wouldn't fall for him. Tough shooting left for Mikki Moore. Modderman clears the rebound.
Yeah, I thought Cato allowed Moore too easy a position inside and was going to just rely on his jumping ability. But Mikki Moore can go over Cato at times.
Holloway against Tom Wald. Kenny Pratt moving on Garner.
A little special play they run. They run everybody on one side, and Pratt pops out, gets one-on-one. He had good weak side help. The Cornhuskers did, but they allowed him to split the defense.
Pratt has 11. Iowa State by 5. Huskers want timeout. Danny Nee's not happy. 11:59 left in this ball game, and we'll be right back after this message from Southwest Airlines. Flying the low-fare airline is just plain smart.
Ever since Southwest Air.
All right, thank you, John Sanders. Derek Hood from Central High School here in Kansas City. Off the baseline. $12 points now for Jaron Boone. 3-point lead, Iowa State. Holloway against Tom Wald. Holloway off target. Pratt saved it.
Great save.
10 on the shot clock.
Got Modderman wide open.
Spots for 3, 5 on the shot clock, and Dedric Willoughby, when it left his hand, signaled good.
That's what Modderman's there for. They had him on the wing, and Willoughby found him. Look at Garner.
That would have been a 3, didn't go. Cato grabs the rebound. Cyclones coming on. They're up by 6, their biggest lead of the night. That's fascinating. As soon as Modderman let that thing go, Dedric Willoughby had both arms in the air dancing. Got a lot of faith in him. Willoughby. Strickland's really doing a good job with him.
Yeah, Strickland outstanding. All defensive team, we mentioned it before. He can really move his feet.
Kenny Pratt in the lane tangled up, and a jump ball. Possession belongs to Nebraska. Here's our current silver bullet replay.
Here's a bullet right across the lane, and Mr. Modderman standing, spotting. He does not miss many of those, folks. Look at the reaction.
Over on the far side, Terry Reed, one of the assistant coaches, pumping a fist. Willoughby dancing with his arms in the air. It was out of your picture there. 6-point lead to the Cyclones. 10:31 left to play in this game. Winner here will play either Oklahoma or Missouri tomorrow afternoon, the second semifinal game. Strickland pops the short jumper.
Well, they ran a triple pick for Boone, and Willoughby had to step out and flash and help. Good pass by Mikki Moore. He put it right to Strickland. Strickland got the jump shot.
7 points, Eric Strickland in this ball game. 10:11 to play.
Good job by Wald. He's defending Holloway, so Iowa State can't get into their offense. Not a good shot, though.
Threw it up off balance. What a save by Strickland. And a foul on Strickland.
Well, they're going to call over the back, and really over back on the land, I think. Tom Wald has played really denying Holloway, so they can't get the offense started. Now, this is probably not a good shot. Maybe trying to draw contact. And boy, it looked like Strickland had the basketball. I'm not sure there's contact. Boy, he has it, and he just kind of comes down on Willoughby. I'm not sure that's a very good call, because he had the basketball. There was no contact while he was getting the ball.
That is 4 fouls on Eric Strickland. We still have 9:45 to play.
Look at Pratt use his body inside. Not very big. They list him at 6'4". I'll give him an inch or half inch on that. He might be 6'3", 6'3 and a half.
Kenny Pratt, 8 second-half points, 13 points in the contest tonight.
Jaron Boone get called for a foul.
What's coming unglued right now for Nebraska. They're going to have to find some poise here now. They're down by 6.
And not a smart foul. He set a pick right in front of the referee, and it wasn't just a pick. All of a sudden he pushes. I mean, he gives it a little oomph. Watch a little oomph right here. He kind of gives the oomph. So he extended his arms right at the end, and it's right in front of the referee. They're going to call that. You can't extend them.
So Jaron Boone picks up his second foul. Dedric Willoughby will go to the line. That is 17 fouls now in Nebraska in the second half. 3 on Iowa State. So here we go again with the Cyclones walking to the free throw line, as they so often do. Willoughby's 3 for 3 at the line with 7 points.
Willoughby has not had a game this year under double figures. That's how important he is to the offensive end. pretty good ball games against Nebraska.
He has 9 points in this one now. He scored 49 points, had 9 rebounds against the Huskers in 2 games.
I really like how he competes. Boxing 1, Holloway on Boone. The other 4 players just play a box. If Boone catches the ball, they will help when he penetrates.
Garner, Badgett. Nice short jumper, but it wouldn't fall, and Cato grabs another rebound.
Boy, you have to hit those. Split the defense, you get an easy 5-footer, you have to make them.
Kenny Pratt working. Cato couldn't get it back. Pratt, double pump fake, blocked from behind.
Mikki Moore is everywhere on the defensive end.
Tyronn Lue.
Here comes Boone.
Boone for 3. Short with it. And now Kenny Pratt grabs the rebound.
Good no call down there. Kenny Pratt bumped.
Pratt has 11 rebounds, John. 13 points. Holloway against Tyronn Lue. Modderman. Boone's covering him. 19 on the shot clock. Willoughby. Cato. Tough catch inside. Jump hook. No. Cato's got it back. Throws it up again. No.
I'll tell you what, it is physical down low, isn't it? A lot of pushing and shoving.
Tyronn Lue. Deep corner Boone, and Modderman came out to get him. Now Garner.
Back to the box and 1.
Iowa State by 8 with 8:14 to play.
Kenny Pratt pointing to the sideline once out of the ball game. He is tired. Was holding his shorts that time. Hard to play defense like that.
John Bankhead will replace him. Modderman got a hand on it. Moore can't grab it. Lue's going to save it. 9 on the shot clock. Lue took it into heavy traffic and lost it. And here comes Willoughby. Light it up. Oh, he took a nice shot and missed it. I thought he was going to jam it.
I thought so too. I wonder if he lost the ball going up. Sometimes you change your mind, but he might just not have control of the basketball, palming it, and then he tried to lay it up. He just couldn't get it done.
7:39 to play. Huskers down 8. Down 6 as Garner knocks it back in there for his 7th point of the ball game.
Kenny Pratt is so tired on the front part of the box and 1. Nebraska's going right through the 2 guys up top. So they're getting easy shots against the 2 on the bottom down low.
Pratt spinning move. Wouldn't fall.
I was going to say he's not tired offensively, though.
Now Lue has it for the Huskers. Strickland's going to come back with 4 fouls on him. Bankhead's coming back with 4 fouls for Iowa State.
It has been easy to penetrate Willoughby and Pratt on that end.
Cato blocked a pass. And timeout here. 7:02 left in this one. Iowa State up by a half dozen. Hang on, we're coming right back to Kemper after this. Stewart waiting for the last game tonight, Missouri and Oklahoma. And what does the Big Tiger have up his sleeve this year?
It's hard to. I think he probably wonders too what his team will do. An interesting year. How many games has he watched sitting on there just watching these 2 games play? You know, he's seen every offense and defense they've ever come up with, and I'm sure he takes a look and says, oh, okay, they're doing that, and that's enough.
Yeah. Here's what we'll do.
Yeah.
He has been involved now in more than half the games played at Missouri as either a player or a coach.
Yeah, in the history of Missouri basketball. That's really a phenomenal stat.
Oh.
I mean, just you think about that. Well, you talk to people who travel around the Big 8. Gentlemen will come by that either played against him or watched him play, and they say, you know what, he was as tough a player as he is a coach. Yeah. He would flat out get after you.
He was voted the all-time Big 8 coach on the all-time team. When Norm Stewart first Strickland with a miss out of bounds to Nebraska. John, when Norm Stewart was a very young coach, I saw him trying to get a referee's referee's attention, couldn't do it. The ball came to him, he grabbed it, put it behind his back, and motioned the official to come get it so he could talk to him. Shot clock there. Tyronn Lue.
Wow. That was deep.
Wow.
You know, he hit a few of those when they played at Kansas. He had a pretty big ball game over there at 21 points, hit some deep threes. They're back to their zone defense, 1-3-1.
Now it's a 3-point ball game. Lue has 8. Modderman to Holloway.
And Modderman needs to be ready when he catches a basketball and he's open. You have Modderman and Willoughby, the 2 shooters.
14 on the shot clock. Klay Edwards.
There he is.
There's Modderman.
Bingo. Oh, right on track.
Wouldn't fall. Bernard Gardner grabbed the rebound. The Huskers just down 3 now. Mikki Moore fouled as he went to the bucket. Klay Edwards got it. His first.
Shot clock's running down, and Lue is very deep. See the shot clock right there. It's 6 and 5. And just kind of a toe-raised jump shot from that young man. Had a terrific year.
Kenny Pratt and Cato back in now for Iowa State. So Tim Floyd didn't let him rest very long. Strickland to Lou. 6 minutes, 2 seconds left in the game. Hamilton partially blocked by Cato. They fight for it in there. Badgett and Bankhead both got a hand on it. Hill ball belongs to Iowa State with 5:59 to play. There's that possession arrow. 54-51. Iowa State with the basketball and the lead down. And the Cyclone fans behind us again send up a roar.
They'll stay in the zone defense.
Holloway. They got Vincent Hamilton, a big man at the top of that zone, and then Garner and Badgett, big men on the wing. Strickland down low and Lou out top. Willoughby got a screen from Holloway. Short with the try. Cato has the rebound, though, and they're going to call it a held ball. Strickland got a hand on it. That would have been his 5th foul.
Strong hands by Eric Strickland. Holloway sent Willoughby a pick, and again, didn't look like Willoughby either had a hold of the ball very well, just the way it came off his hand, or he's telling the referee he was fouled. You just couldn't tell. It didn't look like a normal jump shot for him.
You know what it looks like sometimes? I know it can't be true. It's like he's not thinking about shooting as the ball comes to him. I find that very hard to believe. Lou. Oh, that is a big rebound for the Huskers down in there by Garner. And then Hamilton had it stripped, and he's fouled.
Good foul by Holloway down low. They're going to give 2 shots, and Holloway surprised. He thought it was on the pass. Good rebounding by this Nebraska team. Again, they're athletic. They go after the basketball. And here's the good passing. How about Badgett? Here's the pass. Now, where's the foul? They're going to call 2 shots. Holloway wanted it on the floor, but he did save an easy dunk.
Tim Floyd on the Cyclone bench. Iowa State hasn't scored now in over 4 minutes. They're leading 54-51. It's been 4:23 since they scored. Hamilton with the miss. Vincent Hamilton, a freshman from Forest City, North Carolina, hasn't scored yet tonight.
Toughest part for Iowa State in an up and down pace ball game, and it has been furious, is the fact they don't have very deep bench. They don't play a lot of players, and their starters play a lot of minutes, where Nebraska can rotate a lot of able bodies, and you see Iowa State looks a little tired at points.
Well, Holloway plays 34 a game. Dedric Willoughby 38 minutes a game as a case in point. 2-point lead. Iowa State 5:02 to play.
Double pick for Willoughby.
Hamilton got a hand on it. Holloway saved it. Willoughby pops it and got it. It's a 3.
Well, he will not stop shooting, and the reason why is because they need his production.
He has 12 now, so he's in double figures again. Jaron Boone got set and fired it too hard. Terrence Badgett got it back. No tip try. Vincent Hamilton can't control it, and Badgett's going to save it. No, it's Garner that got it. Boy, they're all over the glass. Lou fouled by Holloway. 3rd on Holloway.
Nebraska really pounding the boards.
34-30. They've out-rebounded Iowa State in this game. 4:34 to play. Iowa State by 5. Garner has 8 rebounds. Garner for 3.
Well, he hit that one, and that must have felt good because he shot 2 more.
Garner.
Uh-oh, you can't leave Willoughby coming up. I thought he was going to shoot it. They forgot Willoughby coming in. Not a good pass again by Holloway.
Badgett. Tyronn Lou. He has 10.
Holloway doing a couple things you don't normally see him do, trying to force a basketball. And he doesn't make a lot of turnovers.
It's his 3rd tonight. Now the Huskers within 3. 4 minutes to play. Bankhead to Holloway. Willoughby. Bankhead, they'll let him shoot that one. He's not going to do it. Bankhead hasn't attempted a 3 all year. Willoughby now misses.
That's a tough shot. Looks like Willoughby's catching, and really it's almost like their last option, and it's just too deep a shot, and he's tired, and it's hard to catch a basketball stand and then jump up and shoot it.
3:31 to play. Lou with a floater that won't go. Cato's got Willoughby out there if he can catch it, and he can, but he doesn't have the shot. Mikki Moore deflects it. Boone to Tyronn Lue. And the Huskers going to set the offense now. Iowa State was back there. Cato and Holloway were back.
I think we have some tired bodies on both squads.
Looks like it, doesn't it? 3:10 to play.
And the reason is they're both playing so hard defensively.
Garner, nice soft little touchdown inside. That's a lot better than his 3-point attempt. He has 9. 1-point game, 3 minutes to play.
And here come the Nebraska fans. There's quite a few of them, and Iowa State fans are on their feet also.
Holloway to the corner, Willoughby, and Jaron Boone with him. Checked by Badgett in that zone now.
The zone has been tough for Iowa State to break.
Willoughby with the catch. Turned down the 3, takes the 2.
That's a better shot. He got it in his motion, took it off the dribble. He's a much better shooter when he kind of takes 1 or 2 dribbles and gets in his rhythm.
14 for Willoughby, 3-point lead Iowa State, 2:30 to play. Tyronn Lue, one-on-one with Holloway.
Willoughby face guarding Jaron Boone. Trying not to let him catch the basketball.
Now down goes Willoughby. Boone gives it up to Lue. Drops it down inside. A foul.
What a pass. Called goaltending on Cato.
Give Terrence Basketball his 4th point of the night. It's a 1-point lead to Iowa State again with 2:14 to play, and we'll be right back after this message from your good friends at Phillips 66.
66. Let's check some other tournament action from around the country. Checking in, for example, on the Big East Conference. Syracuse playing for the 3rd straight time, but they're losing right now to UConn 76-63. Semifinals of the Atlantic 10. UMass has scored the last 6 points to take a 61-55 lead over GW. Let's go back to Fred for the final 2:13 of a tight one in Kemper Arena. Fred.
All right, thank you, John Sanders. John packed up Studio 66, hauled it in here. And
well, UConn playing awfully well then that ball game.
They're a threat to win it all, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a good team.
GW has played their way back into the tournament. I don't think they have to beat UMass tonight to get there.
Nebraska stays in that zone, very active, athletic, keep their hands up, make it tough on Iowa State.
Charging foul on Kenny Pratt.
Well, it seemed like a late call. That seemed like one where Strickland fell down, and then the whistle blew. Again, Kenny Pratt likes to put it on the floor, and he gets there, and there's step on the floor, and then a little bit of acting job by Strickland, and it worked.
Huskers down by a point, 1:47 to play. Jaron Boone against Bankhead. He wants the shot. Takes it. Blocked by Cato. Willoughby against Lue. He's going to go. Oh! What a shot, Dedric Willoughby.
How about those 2 plays? Cato with a block out of nowhere. Danny Nee wanted goaltending. And Dedric Willoughby, the floating finger roll.
16 points for Willoughby. Cyclones by 3. That was a huge bucket. Nebraska made a 10-5 run since Willoughby missed the layup. Blocked by
This is
Cato.
terrific basketball. These 2 teams are playing their hearts out.
Willoughby is going to pull it out. Tim Floyd says, bring it back. See him on the far side, pointing directly to the timeline.
You tell me this isn't fun.
Well, Cato has come up huge for Iowa State tonight.
Little 4 corner. They'll want the ball in Pratt's hands or Willoughby's right now. 1-4 high.
Tell you who I'd give it to, Tim Floyd. Look at him on the far side.
Yeah.
3 on the shot clock. They're going to have to fire it. Pratt from the deep corner. Won't go.
Got the rim. They hit the rim. They'll pull it back out.
Now 37
They better foul. They're going to have to foul.
3-point game, and John Boone fouls Shawn Bankhead, a 70% shooter. Big save by Kelvin Cato.
What a terrific play by Kenny Pratt. Not enough time to get it up. He got it just before the shot clock went off. Lucky enough to catch the rim and
there have been 16 blocks
get back
in this
out.
game.
How about Kelvin Cato? Watch where he comes on this one. Unbelievable. That leads to this shot. Takes off, hangs, little finger roll off the glass. Kelvin Cato has been absolutely terrific. Again, weak side. Strickland tries to clear him out with the left arm. Doesn't work.
Bankhead's free throw, no. Nebraska with the ball. Cato with 5 blocks in this game tonight, equaling his season high in 1 game. 3-point lead, Iowa State. 23 seconds to play. Boone for the tie. Won't go.
I was going to say, you really don't need a 3 unless it's a good shot. You could penetrate and take it to the basket. Jaron Boone, though, is a good shooter and has been shooting the ball well, but he was well guarded. Tried to knock it in.
Mikki Moore getting the foul on Kenny Pratt after Pratt got the rebound. Kenny Pratt now with a dozen rebounds. Cato has 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks in this game. Cyclone faithful happy right now. Timeout here. 19 seconds to play. It is 61-58 Iowa State. We'll bring you right back to Kemper Arena. Now let's take a look at our Pizza Hut delivery of the game, brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of the all-new triple-decker pizza. Have one delivered today and you'll love the stuff we're made of.
Big 8 basketball at its best. The block, which really was an outlet pass off the board, and the delivery on the other end.
Kelvin Cato's tied a Big 8 tournament record with 5 blocks in this game. They have Mikki more credited with 4. We thought he had more than that. There have been 16 block shots in this game.
Big free throws by Kenny Pratt.
And a lot of rim, but he got it. 14 points for Kenny Pratt to go with his dozen rebounds.
Shooter's touch, and Pratt was clapping the loudest of anybody.
17,876 the attendance tonight, a new tournament single station record, and they're really seeing a good basketball game. It's a 4-point game, 19 seconds to go. Jaron Boone in the lane, short jumper, won't go. And it is Iowa State basketball with 12 seconds to play. Cyclones up 4 with the ball.
Iowa State will run an X, they call it. They put 4 guys in the corner at the half court, and then they meet and they split up. Nebraska's going to face guard. Sometimes you get a home run ball on this one. Nebraska has to put a lot of pressure on.
Modderman in.
Modderman, a free throw shooter as he comes in the ball game. They're trying to figure out who's going out. Bankhead will go out.
Bankhead's going out.
Modderman's pointing at Pratt to take it out. Pratt says, am I going out of the game? Says, no, take it out of bounds.
Tim Floyd telling him, look, if you can't get it inbounds, take a timeout. We still have 3 of them left. Nebraska has 1. The possession arrow belongs to Iowa State, and they have the 4-point lead in the ball with 12 seconds to play.
Again, Iowa State has a guy in each corner of the half court, and they run and they kind of split up right at the midsection.
Moore giving him trouble, and Willoughby can't.
Oh, good play by Boone. Good play by Boone, and I'll tell you what, they had Kelvin Cato wide open in half court for the home run ball. Didn't look down court.
Now Bankhead back in for Modderman to play defense.
They all meet, and then they kind of split up. Cato's wide open. All the Nebraska players are there. What a play by Boone.
Mikki Moore guarding the inbounds pass, and Pratt couldn't see him.
Oh,
now Willoughby with a steal.
Terrific play. Terrific play. Terrific play. You talk about thinking man's basketball. That is outstanding. Throws it to the far end. About 3 seconds ran off the clock.
Tim Floyd sprinting down to the bench to get Klay Edwards in the game now for Kelvin Cato.
They're going to have that aerobics video. I guarantee it up in Ames.
Oh, man.
Tim Floyd during a ball game.
Look at Tim. Well, you can't see him now. He just left the picture. Tyronn Lue flashing up court in a hurry. Gives it up to Jaron Boone for the easy 2. And now a timeout with 3/10 of a second to play.
Well, the only way you can score 3/10 is if the ball is quickly shot in. So all they have to do is just get it in there. I tell you, I think you throw it deep.
Throw it down here. When it's touched, it's over.
Tough break here for Nebraska. Boone doesn't make a very good pass, and look what Willoughby does. Almost 10 seconds on the clock as he throws the ball. Only problem, he threw it just a little hard, but look at that. Almost 4 seconds.
Today's Big 8 basketball tournament game is brought to you by Phillips 66, the performance company makers of high-quality super clean gasoline and Trop Arctic premium motor oil. By Southwest Airlines. Fly
deeper, you mentioned it. They put a new rule in last year. If there are 3/10 of a second or less, they've ruled that you really don't have time to catch it and shoot
tip it. Yeah, and that's the old NBA rule. So really, if you're Iowa State, if they run the X or the 4 corners where they meet and go, throw it deep, because the team can't catch it and turn around and throw it in. So the only way they can lose is if they make a funny pass and the guy just kind of catches it, just bats it up and throws it in.
Well, if you throw it deep, they're going to have to bat it from the other end.
Yeah, it's this game is really over if they just
they do.
If they don't charge. There you go.
That's all they needed was to touch the ball. That's over. I tell you what,
Terrific ball game.
Give Nebraska some credit here.
Yeah, they played hard, and that's nice to see. They've had a tough month of basketball, but they came in, played hard, gave their fans something to be proud of. And what a terrific ball game. This was a lot of fun to watch.
Denny Knees Club had to get off the deck, and they did. They're going to go away losing in the first round of the Big 8 tournament. They have to think that they found a little bit of a winner in there somewhere tonight. There's Mikki Moore and Cato. Look at that nice little picture right there. They had a good night.
16 points, 10 rebounds. Mikki Moore had an outstanding night. 15 points and 7 rebounds. 5 blocks for Cato, 4 for Moore. You know, it's this time of year where someone else has to step up. We mentioned Willoughby and Pratt, and everybody knows that. So when they're going to play some team, the team's going to take that away. So Holloway stepped up. Modderman stepped up, hit a shot. But really, it was Kelvin Cato. He came on and did some things that were, they put it down low to him, and he responded.
Just an excellent game, 62-60. Iowa State now 21-8 on the year. They go into the semifinals tomorrow. They'll play either Oklahoma or Missouri. The final winner yet to be determined. It'll be Kansas State and Kansas in the first semifinal game tomorrow. Well, we've seen 2 good games back-to-back now in this tournament. And now it's time to get you down to John Sanders in Studio 66. And John, we want to know Tim Floyd if he's going to get a little bit active now.
You know, that's a good question. Dedric Willoughby will also join us in just a moment. Fred White wonders if you're going to ever get active along the sidelines during a game.
Oh, I don't know. You just coach to your personality, and I guess I don't know. That's the way we approach it. But I was so proud of our guys. They held their composure down the stretch, and Kelvin Cato played really big for us today.
He certainly did. And of course, you got to give some credit to Nebraska, a team that really had been struggling at the last half of the season, yet you knew they'd come in here ready to play.
Oh, their seniors just played so hard and so smart. They took care of the ball better than we'd seen them take care of the ball all year long, and defended better than we've seen them defend all year long. You're right. You got to give them a bunch of credit.
We do have a highlight of one of the plays by Cato in the game. You talked about him and the terrific effort stepping up big time in this game tonight. Let's talk about him.
Absolutely. He was a defensive presence for us. They had made the statement during the week that they were going to take a lot of penetration, so we used Kelvin as a center fielder, and I thought he was, as a result of being so active defensively, he played his best offensive game for us.
How important was this game to you? You guys know you're in good shape for the NCAAs, but coming into the Big 8 tournament, and I tell you, your fans are unbelievable here.
Aren't they great? I thought we were at home, and there'll be more here tomorrow. I just know how they are. It was a great experience a year ago. Yeah, they're all important because you're going out there trying to win, and you're trying to put your best face on every time you hit the floor, and I thought our youngsters did.
Congratulations, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, John.
All right. Tim Floyd, the coach at Iowa State, will make a little exchange. It's Dedric Willoughby. Here is some of Dedric Willoughby in action for Iowa State. You guys really held up well down the stretch, I thought, tonight.
We just came in, wanted to play with a lot of intensity tonight. The guys did a great job responding. Kelvin Cato had played the best game of his career, I think, tonight.
You know, nobody really knew, because so many of you guys were new this year, what to expect from Iowa State. That's why preseason you were picked 8th, but I think you showed everybody that you're not a number 18.
We have a bunch of guys here that love to compete, and that's what Coach Floyd went out and recruited. A bunch of winners, and we don't like, playing second fiddle or last to anybody. We just play with our heart, give it all we have, every game out.
Let's take a look at some more of the highlights. One of your three-pointers coming up right now. I thought you were very patient tonight. You didn't force it, didn't score a lot early in the ballgame.
Yeah, my shot wasn't falling in the first half, so I decided to do other things. Get my assist ratio up, try to get myself to the free throw line, and the guys did a great job of rebounding tonight, and we can't ask for a better win.
Dedric, you're a great addition to the Big 8 Conference. Good luck in the semifinals.
Thank you very much.
Dedric Willoughby of Iowa State. We will continue more of Studio 66. Iowa State advances to the semifinals. Stay with us. We'll be back to Kemper Arena.